Hey, good morning. So today, of course, I'm coming to you from the deserts of Arrakis, better known as Dune. So I'm keeping my voice down. I don't want to attract any sandworms. But you know, it's good that I'm here today because Arrakis, the desert especially, is a place of vision and visionaries like Paul Atreides and others, those of you who know the story and the history of Dune. So I want to talk a little bit about what vision is all about. And I would start with a shout out to the girls at Renfrew, the ladies at Renfrew. I was there the other night and we were talking about their vision for the future of their house. And they had lots of interesting things to say. So I want to talk about vision, and particularly about a visionary who I think of as one of the greatest visionaries of the 20th century, someone who has provided guidance and inspiration to people even to today. You heard last week from the headmaster about Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who was very influenced by this man. I'm talking, of course, about Martin Luther King, whose day we celebrated last week. So King had this vision of a world of peace and equality and people getting along well, but he also knew that that was something that was far off in the future. He's quoted, Mrs. Edgerton reminded me of this quote the other day. He's quoted as saying that the arc of human morality is long, but it always bends towards justice. So he was a person who had lots of patience and lots of optimism, and his vision was really rooted in this optimism. One of the things King would say, I think, is that everyone should be a visionary. We should all have a vision for a better future. We should all have a vision of the kind of world that we'd like to see. And of course, being a visionary means living out that vision that we have for the future. It means starting today to be the kind of people that we would like to see in the world in the future. And of course, you all are at a point where you're kind of sorting out for yourself what's important, what's not important, what your values are. And I think learning some of the characteristics of what it means to be a true visionary. So according to Martin Luther King, what are those things? Certainly education is very important to Dr. King. He said it's very hard to think for yourself, and that education should be a process of learning how to be critical, to think for yourself, to not be kind of blown about by the winds of whatever the popular ideas of the time are. And he said that education is critical if we're going to have a society where justice prevails. So we get that, of course, at Shawnigan. We know that education is all important, that it's really, it's our job really to learn about our world, to learn about our past, to learn about our present in terms of the socioeconomic and cultural realities of the present, and to learn about ourselves, about our strengths and weaknesses and how to work with those things. So a true visionary is an educated person. The second thing that Dr. King would say, and I would agree, is that visionaries are people of conviction. So if to be a person of conviction means you have to have convictions, first of all. And what is a conviction is simply those things that we consider to be important and the thing that we consider to be most important. The things that we're willing to make sacrifices for. And thinking back, of course, to Dr. King, he made the ultimate sacrifice for his convictions. He was assassinated, and he knew very well that he was going to be assassinated unless he kind of backed off from his convictions, and he clearly thought that that was not an option. So education, conviction, and I think the other part of what it means to be a visionary person, and I think maybe this is almost a definition of visionary, is to be a person of hope. And today, of course, we need a lot of that. And as I've said before, hope isn't just about wishing that the future will be a certain way, that hope is about seeing the potential in a moment as well, seeing the possibilities in ourselves and in the people around us, how to together work together as we work hard here to build a community of compassion, a community where we are able to learn from one another, where we're able to support one another, especially through these days of COVID and whatnot. So some things to reflect on. We're all working on our vision all the time. Right now, it's more important than ever because the future tends to seem a little bit blurry to us, I think, some days. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that we are clear about what's important to us and that we are living out those virtues and those values as we live together. So have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. I'll be back from Dune. I'm just a short visit here, so see you soon.